Hey friends, it's Peggy Hall back with you streaming live. I'm from thehealthyamerican.org. Did you know that the county of Maui is giving millions and millions and might even give more millions of dollars to a convicted felon who is a real estate developer out of the state of Texas? It's absolutely stunning. Just when you think the corruption and the grift and the graft and the fraud and the fake and the phoniness and all of that stuff that's going on in Hawaii, on Maui, in Lahaina, just when you think it can't get any worse, now we have news, and I'm going to share this story with you about a convicted felon who says, oh, no, that was all a mistake. Well, there's no record of it being a mistake. I'm going to bring you the details on this fellow. I just find it very interesting that out of all of the real estate developers that Maui could select, that they went with someone who was convicted of bank fraud and more. I'm going to bring all that to you in just a moment. But first, you know how I love to tell you about Trim with Peggy when I talk about Maui and Hawaii. Although I'm not talking about the governor today, I will be talking about him tomorrow. So be sure that you tune in at 4 p.m. Pacific. That's when I do my broadcast Monday through Friday. Let me hop on over and show you again, trimwithpeggy.com. If you haven't tried it and you're curious, this is your chance. So it's trimwithpeggy.com. You may be like thousands of Americans this past holiday season, and maybe you ate a bit too much. So if your New Year's resolutions revolve around weight control, you can rest easy, knowing that most of America is with you on this journey. So about half of all Americans say that losing weight is one of their resolutions, along with, controlling their appetite, reducing fat, controlling cravings, and all of that. So people want a magical pill, but this is what I found, and I would love for you to see if it works for you as well. It is a natural product that helps control your appetite, manage weight, reduce fat, control cravings, and increase energy. And what's more is that its main ingredient is linked to supporting reduced body weight, fat mass, and weight circumference while increasing lean body mass. Try it today for a whopping 51% off, depending on what package you choose. You get free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, a free ebook about losing weight. You get much more with your order for free. There's free shipping. There's a 60-day satisfaction guarantee. So check it out. See if it's a good fit for you. Trimwithpeggy.com. Friends, let's dive into more corruption and scandal in Maui, in Lahaina, and I'm going to take you right on over. This story caught my eye from yesterday. So let me show you how I kind of unraveled this thread of what's going on. I'm going to share my screen, and I have been following the Honolulu civil beat ever since the inflicted disaster back in August on Maui. So what's interesting is I was told that this is a little bit more left-leaning, but it has a lot of great breaking news. So it says West Maui housing developer is being sued by downwind neighbors. Residents say that red dust from excavation activity at the Pulelehua project is infiltrating nearby properties, causing a range of health issues and nuisance issues. Now, if you've been to Hawaii, you know that the earth is red, and it's like a dust that is very difficult to remove. And this is what the Maui residents are concerned about. So it says a group of Maui residents who live near the Pulelehua affordable housing project. And this is where I'm going to connect the clots for you here, because this is where I found out this developer was in prison behind bars for fraud. And the county of Maui gave him millions of dollars. So here we go. This is a Texas developer who's being sued for allegedly failing to control fugitive dust at the construction site that the neighbors say is making their lives miserable and threatening their health. So here we go. This is the subdivision. It's called the Hina subdivision. And this is where you can see the earth is being moved. There's excavation here. And this is where I started to dig a little deeper. So Pulelehua I don't speak Hawaiian. Pulelehua is a 304-acre parcel between the Kapalua Airport and the Hanoa Pilani Highway. And this parcel is owned by Texas-based real estate developer Paul Sao Ki Chang. So he is named as a defendant in the lawsuit, along with his real estate development company, Maui Ocean View LP Limited Partners, and the construction company preparing the site, which is known as Alpha Inc., also known as Alpha Excavation. Some of you may want to dig a little deeper into that construction company. I didn't have time when I was preparing for this video today, but I really appreciate all of you being my top researchers and sending me the info that you dig up as well. There are only so many hours in the day, and my goal is to help you do this kind of digging so that we can not have the wool pulled over our eyes. So here we go. Chang has asked Maui County for a $50 million subsidy to develop affordable housing at the site. That's in addition to an $18 million county subsidy he's already received for phase one of the project. He said, here he is, the convicted felon. I'm going to bring you more on that in a moment. He said that the average affordable residential unit on Maui cost well over $750,000 per unit to build. Now, let me just hang on. Time out. I'm back in my virtual living room here. Welcome, everyone. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm thinking about affordable housing, that doesn't seem to me that it would be in the price range of $750,000. Let me know if you're in construction, if you used to be in construction, if you're in the trades, if you know of anybody who is a general contractor. Doesn't this seem a little steep? $750,000 for an affordable unit? I find that absolutely astonishing. I mean, I would say, and that's not even the retail price, that's just the cost to build it. That seems quite outrageous to me. And if he wants to build it, why should he get government money to do so? Isn't that his company? Shouldn't he be investing in it himself or get other private investors, because they're going to be paid, and they probably will be paid with some government money anyway if the government is subsidizing those units? So let's continue, shall we? I'll hop back on over to the story, because here's where it really caught my eye. Chang spent several years in federal prison in the 1990s for financial crimes related to the savings and loan crisis. And he has appeared before the Maui County Council by video in his appeal for the funding. Now, some of you may have seen him on screen. Again, it would take some time to go back and review the footage of the Maui County Council meetings, but apparently he went in front of the council board and said, let me do it. I want to build these houses. I want to get these people back into their homes. So he said, after the August 8th wildfire, yes, it's a wildfire, 100%. Don't question it. Of course it was. Even though nothing in the wild burned, it was only houses and cars. That's what a wildfire is. And it killed 100 people tragically in Lahaina and displaced thousands who are still suffering. My heart goes out to them. He reconfigured the project to 100% affordable units from an earlier version that had included some market rate for sale homes. He also accelerated the timeline so that fire survivors could have a permanent place to live within 5 years. So I want to go to the fraud story now. So he also says, this fellow, Chang, because of the extraordinary cost, no affordable housing project makes normal economic sense on Maui without public subsidies. That's what he says. Of course, he would say that because he is the builder. My question is, weren't there any competitive bids? Did he own this property, this acreage previously? I need to do a little more digging, but I wanted the main thrust of this story, because there are a lot of details to still go into. But what caught my eye was that he's a convicted felon. Yet the county of Maui saw fit to give him this money, and he's appealing and making a plea for, even more. I guess birds of a feather flock together, as the saying goes. So let me show you what this fellow was convicted of. Here we go. And this website is called justia.com, US law. And I find a lot of information here. This would be considered an original source where you're not getting a news story about something, but you're getting the actual court ruling. So here we are. This is actually they were convicted of numerous. Simon Health and Paul Cheng were convicted of numerous counts of bank fraud, wire fraud, misapplication of funds, false entries, and interstate transportation of funds obtained by fraud. They are appealing this. And as far as I can see, it says the remaining convictions are affirmed. I need to dig a little deeper, but what I got from the civil beat is they asked for, I don't even know if I was sharing my screen. They asked for information because he said, oh, no, that's all behind me now. Well, as far as I understand it, this fellow served time behind bars. I'm looking for that information. So here we have this developer. I'm going to share my screen now, has not come clean about his past. Again, back at the Honolulu Civil Beat. So it's civilbeat.org if you would like to stay on top of these stories as well. As Maui County, and this was December 14th, 2023, as Maui County officials struggle to find housing for thousands of displaced people who survived the deadly August 8th wildfire, a Texas real estate developer is offering to build, he's offering, out of the goodness of his heart, to build hundreds of affordable homes just north of Lahaina. So he wants $50 million on top of the $18 million. This is so beautiful here. And here is where he is building this. It says Cheng and his project have many supporters in Maui, and the developer cites a decades-long record of accomplishment, including high-rise residential towers in Dallas. I thought that was so interesting. Just the news of the day today was the gas explosion also in Dallas, Fort Worth. And this developer has done master planned subdivisions in North Texas and luxury condominiums in Newport Beach, California. Isn't there a Hawaiian developer that could be getting this money to develop these units? I'm just asking. And then it says there's a lesser known chapter in Cheng's resume, unfamiliar to many on Maui, including officials who have worked with him in the past, board members of a nonprofit that he leads. Oh yeah, that's exactly the person you want leading your nonprofit, and others who may be asked to approve major financing for the new development. Here we go. In the 1990s, Cheng spent years behind bars after a conviction on multiple counts of bank and wire fraud, false entries, and transporting illegally obtained money across state lines. He became a figure in the savings and loan crisis that shook the country's economy in the 1980s, appearing in national news articles. The Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation sued him and several Wall Street investment banks. They sued him and several Wall Street investment banks for alleged securities frauds. His troubles happened decades ago, and he appears to have gone on to have a successful career in real estate and stayed out of legal trouble. Yeah, I wonder why, right? Yet Cheng repeatedly claims he was exonerated of his crimes, an assertion of not supported by what's available on the public record, nor is it reflected in national news coverage of what was at the time a major story that affected millions of Americans. He said in 2016, I have vindicated myself. And as recently as last month, he professed his innocence. The problem is that there is no indication of that. There is no evidence of that. A review of court records turns up nothing to indicate that Cheng was exonerated or had his sentence reversed. What it does show is a man who went to great lengths to clear his name, hiring legendary attorneys F. Lee Bailey and Abby Lowell, whose clients range from O.J. Simpson to the Boston Strangler to Hunter Biden. Yeah, that's really the person that I want to trust, is the attorney that is going to bat for those notorious individuals. My question here, there are more details to dig into. My question is, why is the county of Maui giving this money, first of all, to anybody? Secondly, to a non-Hawaiian who is a convicted felon who already got $18 million and is saying it's not enough and wants another $50 million. So I'm going to be following this story carefully to see if the county of Maui gives that money to him. And then there is another story that I want to bring to you tomorrow, which is about, I believe it's, is it $500 million now that is coming from FEMA and the government to Maui to accelerate these properties. Now, this really is a heartbreaking situation. It's impossible for me to really put myself in the shoes of those who had this horrendous, heinous crime inflicted upon them. People that were just going about their business, working at hotels or owning an Airbnb or whatever the case may be, and to have their property, their jobs, their livelihood, their family, in some cases, their family members taken from them in terms of these lives lost. I cannot imagine the depth of trauma that will be lingering and with these people whose lives have been changed forever. I don't even know that a new house or money or anything from the federal government will ever mitigate any of that pain, loss, sorrow, devastation. It's absolutely unfathomable. And it's not just happening in Maui, it's happening in other places of the world where we also are seeing people's homes being taken from them and they're being killed and slaughtered. So we are seeing this on a major scale. Many of you have asked me to continue the coverage on Maui because so many other channels have just kind of let it go by the wayside. So I do really feel for those that are suffering. My concern is the way that the government is going about trying to help these individuals. And what I'm seeing is an open door for the Burn Back Better, the Build Back Better scheme of just thousands of people being dependent on government support. And frankly, they probably need it as a stopgap measure, but it's just paving the way for the what is that called when you get your minimum, monthly payment from the government to live on, and then you're getting your housing payments paid for by the government. And what's going to happen in a couple of years when all that money is going to stop, or is it? So it's troubling to me on so many levels. Number one, that this tragedy could have been avoided for so many reasons. That really is just heartbreaking. And and I know that there are so many unanswered questions about that. So then the people that are left in that devastation, and then to have all of this government bumbling and mishandling of what could be done or should be done. I don't have the answers, friends, but I certainly have a lot of questions, and I will continue to expose the fraud, the fakery, the phonies that are out there. And tomorrow am going to bring you what's going on at the federal government level, and be sure you tune in because I'm going to have, how do I put it, a little bit of show and tell for you as well, thanks to one of my lovely Healthy Americans. So I'm grateful for you being on board here. I have such a savvy, sophisticated audience in my Healthy Americans. I love when you send me cards in the mail and you sign it, a Healthy American in Texas, a Healthy American, in Hawaii, because you are a part of this vibrant, supportive, sophisticated community. And that's just an uplift for my soul as well. So also a big shout out to our moderators, all of you that leave comments, that share, that resubscribe to the channel. One of these days, I'm going to show you a couple of screen grabs of my analytics on YouTube, what YouTube actually behind the scenes is telling me, and then what they're showing to viewers on the screen. It's like I have 1.5 views at the end of this video, but on the screen it says like 53. It's so just silly. And I don't know why they do that. You would think that they would get their technology straight. So anyway, I appreciate all of my thousands of subscribers. And do you know that I wanted to share this with you, over at my Substack, I think we just hit almost 1.5 million views on Substack, not subscribers. These are I love having all of you as my subscribers, but these are people that have actually viewed and read my Substack. So we are having a major impact. Make sure that you're there, peggyhall.substack.com. It's absolutely free. And a thank you to all of you that have upgraded to a paid subscription, because then you're invited to join me in my private live webinar that we do at the end of every month, where you can ask questions in the chat. It's kind of like the live stream here, only I interact with it much more, and you can have questions in the Q&A that I address specifically. So it's intimate, it's private, it's uncensored, and I would love for you to join me. If you've sent me a donation in the mail, or you've done a one-time or a monthly donation online, you're not sure if you got your invite, contact support at thehealthyamerican.org, and we'll get you all set up. All right, friends, look forward to seeing you tomorrow with some more breaking news, so we can roll up our sleeves, dive in, and just support each other, so that we know that we're not going crazy, and we're not going to allow these public serpents and the evil doers to hoodwink, bamboozle, or hogwash us any further.